it's me again, back with fractions on a number line. So guess what? The same student who asked about box method also wanted a review with fractions on a number line. So I know there is so many people around the room who are masters at this, but I figured while I have the time, since everybody was so busy working on their own Math Genius projects, I would go ahead and make this video for us. So remember, if we are identifying fractions on a number line, it is very similar when we're looking for a denominator. Excuse me. We are looking for a denominator. We are asking the same question. Our denominator is what our shape, what our line, what our food, whatever it is broken up into. A numerator is how many we have or wherever we're at or whatever the question is asking about. So in this case, if we want to talk about 4 6, I know I have to break this line up into 6. So this 0 doesn't count as anything. 0 is nothing. It holds a place and it's important, but it means nothing. So this is where our line is ending. So this is a final piece of our line. So I know that's going to be part of what I have to add in to my 6 pieces. So I know I'm going to have to put in 5 lines as equally as I can to make that. Adding that 1 in will make 6. So let's see if I can do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we do the best we can when we're working on whiteboards because we're not robots. We can't make it perfect. But here's the best way that I like to do it. I just go down the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I just labeled my numerators. So I have 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I get to the end of my line or number 1, if our line extends beyond 0, 1, 2, and it's broken up into fractions, I would not stop here. I stop at 1 because when we're working in fractions, we only want to know what one whole is equal to, whether it's a shape, whether it's a pan of brownies, one whole pan of brownies, or to one whole on a number line. We do not go there. That will give us inaccurate information. So in this case, though, this represents our one whole line. It stops here. So I just labeled our numerators, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get to the end of the line, and now I know what my denominator is. Oh, geez. Now I know what my denominator is when I get to the end of the line, and I can just go backwards and label all my denominators on all of these. Another way you can check to make sure your denominator is correct is to make sure that your line is broken up into 6 equal pieces. So I see here's 1 chunk, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is definitely broken up into 6 equal pieces. So here's the first piece, which is why this part's labeled 1, 6. The next piece takes us to 2, 6. The next piece is equal to 3, 6, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. And if you eyeball it, you can see that 3, 6 is right smack dab in the middle. This is also equal to 1/2. It's halfway from 0 to our 1. So, which makes sense because 3 is half of 6. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and analyze this one. Okay, I want you to draw this yourself. So between 0 and our ending point, I have 1 in the middle, and then 3 between 0 and this mark, and then 3 between this mark and that mark. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and try to do this on your own. Okay, you're back. Hopefully it went well, but if it didn't, follow along with me, and we will fix where you went wrong, okay? So like I said, I like to label my numerators first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I know what my denominator is. And go back through. Oh my word. 8 is a denominator. Go back through and label all my denominators 8. Okay, so hopefully you recognized that each one of these was worth an 8th. All right, last but not least, we need to do one that goes beyond one whole, because when we get to fractions on a number line, we need to stop and figure out what one whole is equal to. Always, always, always. You see the word fractions, you see a line, you tell yourself, stop and figure out what one whole is equal to. Or if it's not labeled one, then that implies that it goes through the entire course of the line. But a lot of them will be labeled. So if I have this, just like this, I know from all of Mrs. Crescent saying crazily, fractions on a number line, you stop and figure out what one whole is equal to, that I only go to here to figure out what my denominator is first. Okay? So same process as always, label our numerators first. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll shrink this down a little bit so it's not so big and overpowering, or I'll put it, better yet, put the 1 up top, the 2 up top, and the 0 up top. So I know I'm stopping at one whole. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know what my denominator is, because we're not going past one whole. We got to figure out what one whole is equal to. So I go back through, label my denominators, because here's the thing. Even though our number increases beyond 2, our denominator will not change. It's going to continue to be broken up into fourths. So every another whole will be broken up into 4 more chunks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we are to continue labeling this, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4. And once it gets beyond one whole, it turns into what we call an improper fraction, where our numerator is greater than our denominator. So this 4/4 is equal to one whole. So my denominator tells me what my shape is broken up into and the size of each piece. This tells me how many of this size piece I have. Well, I have 4/4. So I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Then this tells me I have all of one whole and one more chunk. So this plus one more of these. So I have 5 of those. I have 5 of this size piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get over here. I have this and this, because I have 6/4, 6 of this size piece. So I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4. So it's another way of saying I have 1 1/2, because if you look at it, that's another half of something. We get all the way over here to 7/8. You have all of this plus that for 7/8, 7/4. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4. And finally, we get to 8/4. So again, our denominator tells us what our shape is broken up into. It's broken up into fourths. Our numerator tells us how many we have of that. So I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, but I need 8/4. So I have to draw another shape that's broken up into fourths, because this is what we need. We need fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 8/4. So looky there. We have 1 and 2 wholes. So this is a image of what 8/4 looks like. And 8/4 on a number line takes us all the way to 2 wholes on a number line. 4/4 gets us to 1 whole. All right, so I want you to practice this on your own. We're going to make it 0. I'm going to put the numbers up top. I'm going to get smarter about this. 0, 1, 2, and this time it goes to 3. So I want you to label all of these parts, all of these fractions. But remember, your final clue is when you get fractions on a number line, you stop and figure out what one whole is equal to, and that will allow you to label every single point on your number line. Good luck, and when you're done, check in with Duncan, Cami, Alice, and Bree.